Hello everyone. In this video today, we will talk about top 10 strategies to stop IP leakage in your organization. As you know that creation of IP protection takes a lot of time, energy and money. And it's very important that there is no leakage in your organization as far as it comes to IP. And if there are any leakage points, then you must seal them as soon as possible. IP is a very valuable asset for any organization today. And till the time you know what all you have, you will never be able to protect it appropriately. So, indexing of intellectual property is very important because before indexing or without indexing, it's almost impossible to safeguard your intellectual property. So, listing out what all you have is the first step that you should take in order to safeguard your intellectual property. Now, let's talk about the top 10 strategies that you can adopt in order to stop leakage of intellectual property in your organization. The first point here is that figure out what all you have. Till the time you know what you have, you will not be able to safeguard it or leakage points cannot be sealed. Till the time you figure out what all IP you have in your organization. Intellectual property could be in the form of your designs, software code, inventions, it may be a secret called as trade secret. So list out, you have to make a list of what all intellectual property you have, and that should be your first step. And you can as well do internal IP audit to take stock of whatever intellectual property you have in your organization. The second step probably could be that you have to really review the kind of agreements that you have with your vendors, with your consultants, customers, employees, because every agreement has to have a confidentiality clause and ownership of intellectual property, how IP will be created, and who is going to own that intellectual property. So review all your service agreements and make sure that IP clause is right there, and confidentiality and trade secrets are well protected in your organization. The third way to safeguard your intellectual property and prevent IP leakage could be IP policy. Detailed IP policy documenting the way you are going to handle intellectual property in your organization has to be there. And IP policy have to should have clauses like ownership and the protocol that you are going to adopt, confidentiality of information, then security of intellectual property, and there has to be IP cell that is capable of handling the matters related to intellectual property. So whether it's new innovation or protecting your proprietary intellectual property or even commercializing or publishing the intellectual property that you have to have clear guidelines in the form of IP policy in your organization. And IP policy can as well be put on your company website so that any party who is associated with your company, they should be able to see what stand you have on intellectual property front. Fourth point is very important, IP sensitization program, because when your employees join you, they don't even know what agreements, what clauses they have signed upon. At the time of joining, I think most of people they see only one page, that is the salaries breakup. But you need to sensitize your employees on IP matters like what is intellectual property, how they should safeguard, how much to speak in the meetings, how much to disclose to others, and how to communicate confidential information from one department to another department, and what are their liabilities or responsibilities before intellectual property is registered or after it is registered, and ownership issues also should be addressed right in the beginning. So IP sensitization programs, whether it's internal or you can always have external speakers to do that. And these periodic sessions definitely help employees a lot. Physical security of documents is critical. If it is a confidential file, you have to label it. If it is a soft file, you have to put in header or footer somewhere that this is a confidential document. And your employees and anyone who is working in your organization has to know that when confidential file is handed over from one person to another person, it has to be communicated as confidential. So this is one very important thing about confidential files, and there has to be labeling of the files as confidential, and you can always segregate your content or your files as moderate, high, and very high confidential, depending upon the nature of the document. And wherever you feel that there is access denied for everyone, you can always have logbooks to know who is accessing what files. And uh, wet labs, more specifically, record books are very important. Record books are the notebooks wherein day to day, record is kept about the experiments done, and if the record book is signed by a witness at the end of the day, that really makes it a very valid evidence in case of there are any disputes related to ownership of IP or date of filing of intellectual property. So physical security, I think, is something that is very critical for any organization, and labeling plays a very important role here. If there are some areas in your company where some confidential work is going on, or your upcoming products are getting designed, or research is going on, don't hesitate to restrict access to such areas, and only limited number of people should have access to those areas. Not everyone should enter and walk into such areas. So you can always mark the areas like restricted access. That is helpful. CCTV camera can be installed, and you can always have a guideline that camera phones or smartphones are not permitted in such premises. So if access is restricted, your information actually is taken care of very well. The seventh point is important, because the information that is coming in your organization, or information which is going out of your organization, is most of the times through your employees. So when your employees they leave the organization, you have to conduct exit interview for them, reminding them about their responsibility, how they will be handling their confidential information when they enter the new organization. And this holds good for your new joiners. So when a new employee joins, you have to conduct induction program for the new employee, and you have to explain to him or her the responsibilities with respect to confidential information. And most important point here is that when your new employee comes, he should not bring any confidential information of his previous employer, because if that comes in your organization, then your products may have intellectual property of third party, and you may get into any serious IP litigations as well. So take care when the new employees join, or your present employees they leave your organization, because flow of confidential information from your company to another company primarily happens through your employees. Eighth point is that IP audit has to happen periodically. So IP audit helps you to document and take stock of your intellectual property, and also find out the leakage points. uh, so IP audit, you have to first of all devise the outline of IP audit. What is the purpose of intellectual property audit? So then you can probably make a day-wise agenda of IP audit, execute it, and your final outcome of IP audit has to be useful for the organization. IP audit can be done internally. Your senior IP guys can do, but external IP audits are more effective, because third party opinion definitely is unbiased. And audit can be done once in a year or 6 months, as you wish. These days, there are lots of tools to track the transfer of data from one machine to another machine. So, if you install such tools onto your systems, then this definitely takes care of flow of intellectual property or any confidential information from your organization. And if that happens, you always have opportunity to seal such gaps. One of the effective ways to protect your intellectual property is you register it. Because when you register intellectual property, lots of things get sorted out. Suppose there is invention, and product is not yet in the market, so it is highly confidential as of today till the time intellectual property or patent is filed for. The moment I file for patent, ownership is taken care of, because in the patent application, when I write my name as owner of a patent, that means it is now a fact, documented fact, that Bindu Sharma is owner of this patent. And other thing is you get date of filing and name of applicant. So lots of things with respect to your intellectual property. It gets established when you register your intellectual property. But here I agree that not every intellectual property that you have in your company is worth registration. So, but if it qualifies to be registered as a patent or copyright brand name, you must register your IP because it is one of the most effective ways to safeguard your intellectual property. So I hope you found this video with 10 strategies to stop leakage of IP useful. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me. I will give my email ID and phone number in the comment section below. And how did you like this video? Please do let me know so that I have encouragement to record more videos for you. And I thank each and everyone for you for watching this video today. And you can always get back to us if you have any doubts and if you want any of our services in the area of IP contracts and IP licensing. Thank you very much. Good day. Keep innovating. Keep growing.